This dessert is found on many Scottish tables during the New Year. Many of its ingredients are found during the Middle Ages, but it actually predates to pagan celebrations. This dessert has survived the centuries because of its sense of community. We're exploring the history and origins of the Scottish black bun. I'm your host, Glenn Warren, and welcome to another serving of Seasons Eatings, the podcast which explores the history and origins of your favorite Christmas foods. Seasons Eatings can be found wherever you download your favorite podcasts. Seasons Eatings can also be found on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky. If you love the show, then I humbly ask you to share this podcast with someone you think would love to hear more about the history of Christmas and the foods which shape the holiday we love so much. And if you want to give me suggestions for a future episode, just email me at seasonseatingspodcast@gmail.com. All the links can be found in the show notes at seasonseatingspodcast.com. When we talk about public history, we often think of monuments, archives, or museum objects. But food, especially traditional food, can function just as powerfully as a historical source. Recipes preserve memory, techniques transmit values, and festive foods often survive long after the beliefs that created them have changed. Scottish black bun is one such artifact. Dense, dark, and encased in pastry, it's not immediately inviting to the modern eye. Yet black bun offers an unusually clear window into Scotland's medieval past, its religious transformations, and the ways ordinary people adapted tradition to changing social conditions. Black bun, sometimes known as Scotch bun, is a type of fruit cake completely covered with pastry. It's originally eaten on the 12th night of Christmas and is now enjoyed during Hogmanay. The cake mixture contains dried fruits, almonds, citrus peel, and spices. It had originally been introduced during the return of Mary, Queen of Scots from France, but its original use at Twelfth Night ended with the Scottish Reformation. In this episode, I want to approach black bun not simply as a recipe, but as a historical document, one that has been revised, repurposed, and preserved across the centuries. Before examining black bun historically, it's worth spending time defining precisely what it is and what it's not. Definitions matter in public history because they shape how audiences recognize continuity and difference over time. Scottish black bun is a baked confection consisting of a highly concentrated mixture of dried fruits, most commonly raisins, currants, and sultanas. They're combined with sugar, spices, and sometimes treacle or alcohol. This mixture is fully enclosed within a robust pastry shell and baked slowly over an extended period. What distinguishes black bun from other fruit-based cakes is not merely its ingredients, but its structure. Unlike Christmas cake or plum pudding, black bun is entirely sealed in pastry. The filling is therefore hidden until the bun is cut, creating a sharp contrast between an unassuming exterior and exceptionally rich interior. The term black refers to appearance rather than flavor. When sliced, the filling appears almost black due to the density of its dried fruit, the compression of the mixture, and the deep caramelization of sugars during baking. Historically, this darkness would have been interpreted as a sign of richness and intensity, rather than heaviness or excess. Equally important is how black bun is meant to be consumed. It was never intended to be eaten in large portions. Slices were cut thinly, often served with tea, cheese, or spirits, and shared among multiple people. This mode of consumption reinforces black bun's role as a ceremonial food rather than an everyday indulgence. Finally, black bun occupies an ambiguous category between bread, cake, and preserved loaf. This ambiguity is historically significant. It reflects an earlier culinary framework in which rigid distinctions between baked goods had not yet solidified. Black bun's identity is therefore best understood not through modern labels, but through its function, a durable symbolic food designed for ritual use at moments of seasonal transition. From a public history perspective, ingredients function as historical evidence. They reveal patterns of trade, access to wealth, medical belief, and cultural taste. The dried fruits used in black bun, that is raisins, currants, and sugar, were imported commodities in medieval and early modern Scotland. Their presence alone signals festivity and exceptionality. These were not everyday foods, but ingredients deliberately reserved for moments of ritual importance. The spices, however, are especially revealing. Black pepper, cloves, nutmeg, and cinnamon appear repeatedly in early formulations of black bun. In modern baking, these spices are often softened or omitted, but historically they were central to the bun's identity. In medieval Europe, spices occupied a complex position. These were luxury goods associated with long-distance trade routes linking Scotland to the Mediterranean and the Middle East and Asia. Possessing and using spices demonstrated both economic reach and cultural participation in a wider world. Spices were also believed to possess medicinal properties. Pepper was considered warming and digestive. Cloves and nutmeg were associated with protection against illness. In a cold climate and during winter festivals, these qualities were symbolically and practically important. Equally significant is the medieval approach to flavor. The modern division between sweet and savory did not really exist. Sweetened dishes commonly included pepper and other sharp spices. Black bun therefore preserves an older sensory worldview, one in which richness, heat, and sweetness were combined to produce food that was sustaining, symbolic, and fortifying. One of the most striking features of black bun is its pastry casing. In the medieval period, pastry often served as a container rather than a delicacy. Sometimes known as a coffin, this type of pastry protected food during the long baking and storage. Encasing the fruit mixture in pastry helped regulate heat, reduce moisture loss, and extend the shelf life, an essential consideration during the long winters. The pastry could be thick, sturdy, and only partially eaten, if at all. From a public history standpoint, this reminds us that historical food practices were shaped by necessity as much as taste. Black bun is, at its core, a preservation strategy refined into a ritual food. We'll talk about how this dessert went from a pagan celebration to a New Year's staple after the break.
It's Christmas!
Hello, this is Adam from Merry Britsmas. I am a Christmas fanatic from the UK who thinks that the world needs to know more about the traditions, telly, and music that helps make a British Christmas really festive. I look at everything from mince pies to Boxing Day to Wham to Slade to the Royal Family to Doctor Who. If you want to find out more about a British Christmas, or you are British and want a hit of nostalgia, check me out at Merry Britsmas.
An happy blooming Christmas to you and all.
Don't you wish the holidays would last the entire year? Well, now it can. Head on over to mymerrychristmas.com where you can enjoy the holidays all year long. You can chat with other Christmas enthusiasts on any topic you can think of. Movies, books, cooking, decorating, anything. If it's about Christmas, it's here. Joining My Merry Christmas is completely free. But if you become a Premier member, you can enjoy extra bonuses such as a yearly Christmas card exchange and Kringle Radio, Santa's exclusive Christmas radio station. For only $19.95, you can become a Premier member of mymerrychristmas.com for a full year. So head on over to mymerrychristmas.com and start enjoying Christmas all year long. Early forms of black bun are best understood within the context of Yule, the midwinter festival that predated Christianity and was later incorporated into Christmas observance. Yule marked the turning of the year, the return of light, and the hope for agricultural renewal. Foods associated with Yule were typically rich, preserved, and symbolic. Enriched breads and fruit-filled loaves functioned as communal markers of survival and continuity during the most precarious point in the year. Black bun's density and durability align closely with these earlier ritual foods. The Protestant Reformation of the 16th century included a profound rupture in Scotland's religious and cultural life. Reformers viewed many traditional festivals, including Christmas, as unscriptural or excessively influenced by Catholic practice. As a result, Christmas celebrations were discouraged and at times formally suppressed. However, deeply embedded food traditions rarely disappear entirely. Instead, they adapt. In Scotland, festival practices were gradually detached from Christmas and reassigned to Hogmanay, which carried fewer theological objections. This process represents a form of cultural negotiation rather than erasure. Foods like black bun were preserved not because their religious meanings remained intact, but because their social functions, hospitality, renewal, and communal bonding continued to matter. By shifting from Yule and Christmas to Hogmanay, black bun illustrates how ordinary people navigated religious reform pragmatically, maintaining continuity through adjustment rather than resistance. To understand the cultural importance of black bun, it's necessary to examine why Hogmanay assumed such a central role in Scottish life. Hogmanay is basically the Scottish New Year. It emerged as Scotland's primary winter festival, not simply because Christmas declined, but because it fulfilled essential social and psychological functions. In an agrarian society shaped by long winters, the turning of the year carried profound significance. It marked survival through hardship and the renewal of communal bonds at a moment of uncertainty. Unlike Christmas, which was increasingly framed as theologically problematic during and after the Reformation, Hogmanay could be understood as a secular or civic observance. It focused less on religious doctrine and more on time, continuity, and collective renewal. This relative neutrality allowed Hogmanay to expand rather than contract during periods of religious reform. Hospitality became the defining feature of Hogmanay. Communities emphasized open doors, social visiting, and ritual generosity. The custom of first footing crystallized these values. The first visitor after midnight was believed to set the tone for the coming year, and therefore carried a heavy symbolic burden. Objects brought by the first footer were carefully chosen. Coal represented warmth and survival. Whiskey signified sociability and good cheer, and food symbolized abundance. Black bun, dense and enduring, was uniquely suited to this role. It embodied prosperity that could be stored, shared, and controlled, qualities especially meaningful in a subsistence economy. Hogmanay also functioned as a moment of moral and social resetting. Debts were settled, grudges set aside, and households ritually cleansed in preparation for the new year. The sharing of food reinforced these traditions, turning private domestic space into a site of collective meaning. From a public history perspective, Hogmanay illustrates how communities negotiate identity through ritual. It allowed Scots to preserve festive traditions while reshaping them to fit new religious and political realities. Black bun's survival within Hogmanay therefore reflects not nostalgia, but adaptability. By the 18th and 19th centuries, Hogmanay had become firmly established as Scotland's most significant annual celebration. Its emphasis on hospitality, continuity, and hope provided a durable framework within which traditional foods like black bun could retain relevance and meaning. Black bun also reflects broader Scottish social values, particularly those of restraint, thrift, and communal sharing. The bun is not consumed in large portions. It is sliced thinly, often accompanied by some tea, some cheese, or a whiskey. This mode of consumption reinforces its symbolic role. Black bun is not indulgence for indulgence's sake. It is abundance, carefully managed. For public historians, this offers an opportunity to discuss how food encodes moral and social norms, sometimes more effectively than written records. Today, black bun survives primarily through traditional Scottish bakeries and domestic holiday baking. While recipes have been adapted, some include alcohol, others admit pepper, but the essential structure remains intact. Its relative rarity enhances its historical resonance. Black bun is no longer an everyday food. It's heritage food. Each appearance at Hogmanay represents a conscious engagement with the past. Scottish black bun offers an unusually rich example of how food operates as public history. Its ingredients record medieval trade networks and medical beliefs. Its flavor profile preserves a pre-modern century worldview, and its form reflects practical strategies of preservation shaped by climate and scarcity. More importantly, black bun reveals how traditions endure through adaptation. As Scotland moved from Yule to Christmas, and from Christmas to Hogmanay, the meanings attached to black bun shifted without disappearing. What began as a midwinter festival of food, rooted in pre-Reformation belief systems, was successively reinterpreted within a new social and religious framework. Hogmanay provided the structure that allowed this continuity. By emphasizing hospitality, renewal, and communal responsibility rather than doctrine, it created space for older practices to survive. Within this context, black bun became not just a festival food, but a material expression of hope, stability, and managed abundance. For public historians, black bun demonstrates how everyday objects can carry historical complexity. It reminds us that the past is not preserved solely in text or institutions, but in practices that continue to be enacted, sometimes quietly, sometimes ceremonially, across generations. Encased in pastry and dense with fruit and spice, black bun functions as an edible archive. Each slice connects the present to medieval preservation techniques, Reformation-era negotiation, and enduring importance of hogmanay in Scottish cultural life. In paying attention to foods like black bun, we gain access to histories that are lived as much as they are remembered. Histories that are tasted, shared, and renewed with each turning of the year. I'm Glenn Warren, and thank you for listening to this serving of Seasons Eatings. Seasons Eatings is available wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And please, if you can leave a review about the show, we can spread the Christmas cheer. And if you let me know you've left a review, I'll send you a Seasons Eatings sticker as a personal thank you. And I would also love to hear from you. Send me an email at seasonseatingspodcast@gmail.com. Let me know how I'm doing, suggestions for future episodes, or just to chat. And I know that we can all get busy, especially during the holidays. So even sharing the podcast with someone who loves Christmas would be a great help. And if you're feeling extra generous, you can buy me an eggnog. Head on over to seasonseatingspodcast.com, click on the little cup in the corner. Each small donation helps with the daily running of the podcast and is greatly appreciated. All music for Seasons Eatings is used under the Creative Commons license.